Everyone knows that AI has been getting better and better over the years. But recently, I noticed a massive disproportionate jump on how useful AI actually is. The way my team and myself work every single day has dramatically changed even over the last 6 months, let alone for the past year. I remember when my first employee being intimidated by the use of systems like Clay and setting up cold email campaigns, and now she's ripping through CSVs and Cursor, building custom scrapers, and just doing tons of things that she never thought was possible. Well, now it's easy and that possible. Once you know how to leverage the tools that I'm about to show you in growing your business through various channels like cold email that can normally take an experienced person weeks, if not months. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 unique and real ways to use AI that can change how you grow your business starting today. The first one is speech to text. There are lots of them nowadays, both on device, like Apple's dictation, which has improved a ton since their macOS and iOS 26. But then you have popular ones like WhisperFlow and Super Whisper. But one that has been my absolute favorite, where this developer just put some amazing work, is Spokenly. And Spokenly is just right here. So essentially they have it on your iOS device, which I have on all of mine, and my Mac minis and laptops. Because literally I'm hardly using the keyboard nowadays, where I'm just using natural language to talk to AI agents and really just to be able to speak naturally and be able to type out everything. So what you'll notice here is pretty simple and obvious here, but the thing that I want to call out is that we have tons of dictation models that you can customize, and you can even bring your own keys. They have a freemium paid subscription as well, but you'll see that we have online models, and then you even have local models. One of the LLMs that I use quite a lot, especially if I'm going to be on a flight or if I'm not quite sure if there's good internet, is NVIDIA's Parakeet. So if you just download this, it literally is very fast, and then it'll be able to translate anything that you say, which is multilingual, and you'll be able to articulate what you want to say very quickly. The benefit here of speech to text across the board is you can only type so fast. For most people, you're typing like 60 to 80 words a minute. Sometimes if you're ripping through keyboards, like up to 100 plus words per minute rather, if you're sitting there talking just like I am to you right now. And you can be able to articulate your thoughts a lot more clearly than to be able to rip through your fingers as you get tired and go from there. So I would just definitely recommend going with a speech to text. The other thing that I'll say too is to keep abreast on the latest models, because a lot of these are coming out all the time. And essentially if I just, press Control and Command, it'll pop up on the bottom of the screen, and I could just sit here and just type, and everything is going to just pop up right in front of me, and I can just hit send. The other thing that I'll call out here is AI prompts. Now I only have 2 of them on here, but on my main machine, I have several of them to where you can even do the main prompt, which is just basic, but then you can even do agentic types of workflows as well, where you can launch apps, you can close apps, you can open a website. You can do a number of agentic things, which literally turns your computer into an agent who can actually do things. The second is agent skills, also known as Claude skills. And the reason that this is so powerful is because think of it like an employee. An employee usually has skills, that's why you hired them, right? But then you need to onboard them, right, to your custom ways that you do things, SOPs, all these custom things that you do within your business. So you're literally training them on different skills in order to mesh these together so you can have a fully trained employee that could be actually productive. Well, this is no different. What we're doing is we're actually using skills to improve how it performs specific tasks. Skills are folders that include instructions, scripts, and resources that Claude can load when needed. One of the biggest things here is they actually set it up as an open source to where you'll be able to actually equip agents with all the skills that you can possibly need that can be custom. We're talking copywriting, using instantly, creating an image, brand, all this kind of stuff. And you'll be able to just go in and be able to, like you can see right here with their skills, this is their actual repository here. But we have brand guidelines, we have canvas design, you have front-end design for like websites. I use this for building MCP servers really quickly. You have a skill creator. So I usually import this and then we'll actually just articulate what the skill is that we want to replicate. There's also a website that I came across here, which I found to be pretty good, and you'll be able to import different skills that are developed by both Anthropic and other third-party developers. I would definitely take a look at the actual skill too to make sure that you're importing a skill that is actually going to be usable to you and tailor it to how you want. Another thing here, like you said, is YouTube transcript downloader, where example is if I watch a video and if I want to remember it, but then also import it into a repository in order to stay sharp, I'll just download the transcript and then I'll actually add it as context as a markdown file inside there so I can reference that later and know that I'm still staying sharp with everything that we're trying to learn together, right? That's the biggest thing, is everything is so new here that we learn from each other. And so I would say just to try to keep utilizing these new developments here. Skills just came out literally recently. I mean, as of this recording, we're at the tail end of 2025 and this just literally came out. So I would definitely leverage the skills here in order to replicate that. So much so that internally at Top of Funnel, we've actually built out Claude skills for a number of different frequent workflows and things that we typically do. So I went ahead and just created a lot of these different types of skills, such as email deliverability, instantly management, lead enrichment, LinkedIn content, master cold email copywriter. So all the frameworks that we think are going to work really well for us and our clients, we'll articulate that to say, this is what a cold email looks like. Don't say, I hope this email finds you well. Don't say all this fluff nonsense about, oh, beautiful profile, right? These are literally things that are just fluff. And so we have it trained in order to really articulate value, to be clear, concise, and value driven with call to actions that actually mean something and are valuable to the prospect. And then of course there's good old vibe marketing, which is just everything encompassing when it comes to using Sora, using Nano Banana for image. And there's sales intelligence, where when we're on a sales call, I have it plugged in to where it's basically trying to call me out and anything that I messed up in order to improve my sales skills. The third one is going to be MCP servers, also known as connectors. So what is Model Context Protocol, or otherwise known as MCP, but actually commonly termed as connector now? Well, it is essentially connecting agents to different external connections. Think of it like a USB cord or an external port that you're actually connecting different sources in order to make sure that you're pulling in context around what you want to do. This could be your HubSpot, could be Slack, could be ClickUp, could be anything really that you're wanting to do in order to take the large language model and send it or pull in context around what you actually want to accomplish. If I go into Cursor and I even so much as bring up all the MCP servers that I have in my platform here, so I have GitHub, which obviously you can see 51 tools. So when I'm interacting and committing and doing all these things with GitHub, I can easily use all of these as well. And then we have the Instantly MCP, which just recently was mass released, built by yours truly. We're doing constant improvements in order to make sure that it's constantly being improved and adding more tools. But right from here, I could literally say, create a campaign or list my accounts, get an account. It can notify me when it's actually disconnected so I can reconnect it. I can get analytics, I can create leads, I can do a whole lot of things all within Cursor or Claude to be able to actually do interactions with it as well. The other one too is browser MCP. If I enable this, I can literally just go in and I could say, visit this website, click, type all these things. And then for testing and even doing action items, it'll just tighten the feedback loop and be able to do things as I'm sitting here multitasking or doing something else. And then I can simply tell Cursor to ding me when you're done, and I will be on here. So the fourth is building websites very quickly at that, and putting proposals around them for sales. One of the things that I love to do, aside from building websites, is really going the distance on what is actually possible, which wasn't really possible, at least at this capacity and this quickly. So you'll see here, I demonstrate a good friend of mine who actually owns a landscape company in Utah. And I've actually built several of his sites before for years back. But one of the things that I really loved about it too is that I am actually able to really just level up on a lot of different creativity to really make sure that our clients, and namely him, can really show their best and show their unique ability to actually make their website really, really stand out and make it actually theirs so that they're proud of it. A lot of times you'll see websites that are very vanilla, they're templated, they're in this sandbox of things like Shopify and Webflow and WordPress. Now, those are all great and everything, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them are templated and they're very easy and copy and paste to deploy, but that also constrains you on what is actually possible with actually developing a site, and so much so to actually put a proposal right inside it versus sending them like an email or a document or something that's just a little bit more vanilla and kind of falling in with the crowd. So you'll see here, I quickly mocked up a site for him to be able to just showcase some of the abilities of being able to actually have a really good looking website. And these are things that where he's coming from an older website, it's namely a landscape company, right? So a lot of these companies that are home services and things like this, namely boring businesses, they're not really sharp on all the tech things that are coming out. So this kind of stuff is really going to pop for them and prospective customers. Now you'll see right here, just on the lower right, where I'm saying, hello, and I called his name, obviously, your website proposal is ready. So he can actually see from proof of concept, and he can click around and everything to see like, wow, this is actually what it looks like. We can make some revisions, things like that. But I basically scraped their website. I understood their logo, the context around it. I download images and then I repurpose it to come up with a really, really good, compelling website. And if we even go into here, I click view proposal, and we can actually see everything here, right? So we can go into it and we can design it. We can make it look really good. We can break down the proposal price. We can go into here and actually show like what our plan is, our timelines, everything like here, which this is actually a project that we're going to be launching. But you can see it's all pretty much good to go, that we're able to literally get to work right here. The other thing here is for what we did at top of funnel. So I took inspiration from a lot of different websites. I also like to poke around and see, okay, what are some really, really nice websites, namely from like video games and movies, and what are unique Easter eggs that I can plug into this website to really make it feel that much better, right? So you can see here for the holidays, I put a little snow effect. So it's obviously happening while Christmas and the holidays are upon us. And then I also put these little interactive cards here. So if I click through, you can see little workflows here, like with the AI agent inside of N8N. And then you have little things like Wade Wilson, where if you're a Deadpool fan, you know what I'm talking about. And then the other thing you can see here, if I click on this, I can just go with all sorts of stuff here. Avengers Unite, are you still clicking me? And then I see Arena, Nevada. The other thing here is you can see where it says, good afternoon, Reno, because it's afternoon and we're in Reno. So I'm able to pull the location from where they're at and then understand the time zone and actually kind of assume where they are at with everything that they are doing. This really kind of demonstrates some of the things that you could do with your website and for your client's website to really make it pop and be unique. Just demonstrate everything that you want to do. I was able to do different resources here, such as a funnel calculator, and to be able to really help with people that we work with to really understand how many inboxes do I need, what does a true funnel look like from a cold email perspective, and really just be able to kind of hone in and let them be educated on really what they're looking for. We also have an AI readiness assessment where I'm able to just make a Next.js form really easy for them to be able to plug in their site, and they can actually be prepared for what's to come, which we all know there's going to be ads inside our chatbots like ChatGPT here soon, where AI search is definitely at the forefront and is already happening. So little things like that, and just really making a good utility website out of everything, because it's not only a dynamic and fluid, very real and lively website, but my opinion is that you should really put your best foot forward on your website so that it performs for you, both on the front end and on the back end. From here, you'll actually notice at the top, I put a banner here, starting 2026 strong, which leads me into the fifth thing, which is building a team of agents to do the job for you, and essentially a cold outbound dream team. So I went ahead and developed a cold email dream team, which I made it open source. So you can simply click on here and you can clone it and fork it and be able to go into the project. And that is the ability to actually use multi-agent workflows. Multi-agent is the ability to actually use multi-agents and essentially a team for you to be able to do things that you want to do that you really never thought possible, and that you don't really need to actually hire a team to do it. For example, we have a supervisor. So a supervisor agent is going to be able to be a bigger model and to be able to orchestrate everything here, right? So we can go into this actually depiction here, but we have a supervisor agent, which is powered by GPT 5.1 or any other larger model that you want to do, because this is going to be the senior and the delegator to be able to delegate the tasks, right? And then we have different agents here that are more child or individual contributor ones, but we have Lead Magic, which is responsible for finding emails, validating it, LinkedIn enrichment, that kind of thing. We have a lookalike agent, which is from Ocean.io, where we can actually enhance and develop our list to where they have similar companies, similar people, audience expansion, things like that. We have Instantly's agent, where I'll be able to actually build email campaigns. I can import leads. I can do sequence updates. I can do analytics. I can do a lot of different things. Then we have HeyReach agent, which is the ability to do our LinkedIn automation, to be able to connect with people, send them messages, and really develop social relationships around your offer and your ICP. And then we have Firecrawl agent, because this is overall intelligence. So we want to do a bunch of web scraping, data extraction, company research, and scoring to be able to do that. And so if I'm given a CSV inside of Cursor, which I'll demonstrate here in a moment, is to be able to bring this into the supervisor agent. That's going to delegate and do exactly what it needs to do, because you can see if we gave this all to one agent, that's going to be way too confusing and it's going to hallucinate. Now, I went ahead and vibe coded a page here, so that way if you're non-technical, that you can easily just say, okay, this is what I need to do, download. This is what I need to do, download. And then I explain what it's like to actually fork something, because a lot of this lingo and stuff is probably confusing for a lot of people. So I talk about forking it, cloning it, going into Cursor and being able to naturally get your way through what you want to do. But it is important too to actually see what it does, so you can start to really speak the language, if you know what I mean. So with that said, I'm actually in Cursor right here, and we went ahead and cloned the repo. So I imported the code here, and I'll just go through exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see, first and foremost, I went ahead and pulled in our Tofu Claude skills. And so I've actually already imported what it's like to make a good cold email deliverability. I did instantly management. So these are those injections of skills to say, hey, you need to use this skill for this particular use case and nothing else. And then you can see the team of agents that we have right here. Now, this is the Firecrawl agent. So you can see it says import, Crew AI, we're importing the agent. And then we have, generally with what you're doing inside of ChatGPT, you're giving it a prompt, right? Well, this is basically the setup for exactly that. We're giving a system prompt right here, and we're doing, your role is Web Intelligence Specialist. If we go to Instantly, we can do an Instantly agent, Campaign Operations Specialist. And so it's important to actually not be intimidated and to go into it. .pys are made by Python, or they're Python scripts. So if we go into right here, we can actually change this, just make sure that it's actually within the quotes. So we can essentially really hone it. You can see these are kind of generalistic because they're templated, and I developed it for that reason, so that way you can make it unique for yourself. But you can see right here, you are a cold email campaign expert with deep knowledge of email deliverability, warm up. It would behoove you, and probably be better, to go ahead and tailor this exactly to how you want. And so I would even so much as say, bring up spokenly. What I'm looking to do is actually update the instantly agent.py, and I would like to make sure that this agent is very specialized to the point where he knows anything in my business in regards to what we offer clients, which is to build automation systems and custom AI agents in order for companies to save time, save money, and make more money, of course, in order for them to have proper and effective outbound messages. And now what it's doing is reviewing the instantly agent.py to understand its structure. And you can see that I read it. Now it's actually enhancing it, and it's writing the code. And then we are going to essentially make these agents a lot more custom, which if you go in here, you can already see it's done a whole lot more to enhance it. So you can go in there and really customize your team of agents to actually do the job. So that way you can effectively, as a human, be the orchestrator of this, and then you're monitoring it. Because at the end of the day, we're taking data, we're reasoning with data, and then we're using and sending data to generate more opportunities, right? If you want to go deeper into the AI trenches, click here where you can learn how you can use one of the large language models to set up your very own custom data scraper, where you can get the most information from any website on the internet, plug it into your campaigns, and start sending. And by the way, it's 100% free and open source. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.